You had it before. You got totally into process. And you started saying things about your opponent that weren't believable, and what happened is you went into the tank. Now, he's got a moment. Let's see if he takes advantage of it. What does Romney need to do? Look, the criticism of your opponent is fine, but he needs to put it inside a frame, and the frame is what is it what conservative issue, what issue that Republicans care about does this relate to? If he goes after Newt on the issue of Freddie, then he ought to put it inside the frame of, look, this is an issue. President Obama's bailing out Fannie and Freddie to the tune of nearly $150 billion with no end in sight. We need to make this an issue, and he can't make it an issue because he was on Freddie's payroll. You can't just simply attack. You got to put it inside a frame.
All right. Can you predict with any certainty what's going to happen next? I doubt it. Not even you.
Whatever it is, whatever it is, we're not going to know until after it happened. This is the most inexplicable. Think about this. We had the guy who lost by 30 points in New Hampshire win South Carolina by 12. He won South Carolina by a bigger margin at the end of the week than he was losing at the beginning of the week.
Senator Santorum warning them to, quote, stop perpetuating ugly racial stereotypes on the campaign trail. Are those 40 Catholic leaders and theologians wrong, or are those two candidates doing that?
Well, I would ask those theologians if their values are rooted in Christian principles or if their values are rooted in liberalism, because I don't see anything as far as being racially motivated. Let's speak about the facts, and I think that's what we have to be discussing here. And you and I talked about this last week, where we cannot have a situation in the United States of America where we believe that only certain people...
Who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 years? I don't believe that we've seen
maybe get paid.
So what's next for the Congresswoman? Listen to what she and her husband, retired astronaut Mark Kelly, told ABC's Diane Sawyer.
Left turn on South Broadway in 1.3 miles.
Other things you love right now?
Football. Daddy loves the NFL. Alligator come around.
Coming around eventually and finishing what she started. Strong lady. Lieutenant Depot Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta is a neurosurgeon. He's treated many gunshot victims. He's followed Gabby Gifford's story very closely. He joins me now. Sanjay, listening to the Giffords in that video that she released yesterday, I mean, it is amazing how far she's come. You can hear, though, that she still struggles stringing together multiple sentences. Is that typical?
It's hard to believe it's been just over a year now, Anderson. What I would say as a starting point, her recovery was pretty atypical in that, so many people who have gunshot wounds at close range to the head don't survive, let alone have any meaningful neurological recovery. So in that sense, she was in the top, few percent in terms of recovery. But you're right on, Anderson, in terms of the way her speech, spoken communication, still seems to be absent.
So in which progress typically plateaus or slows with this type of injury?
Well, if you break it down, you look at the left side of the brain and say, okay, all the things that this can do.
difficulty moving the right side of her body. What kind of therapy does someone have for that type of injury to regain mobility?
So then it's everything from the very practical, so personal, teaching yourself in the interim how to function with things that are required of someone who's a member of Congress.
Sanjay, appreciate it. Let me just quickly ask you, does she know, if she's struggling for words, does she, I don't know if we know this, but does she know what she wants to say and just can't find the word?
Yes, that is often probably all still very intact, but it's that expressive part. And you saw again in your piece, Anderson, how frustrating that is. You saw her break down in tears over that. It's because of that ability. You know what's going on. It's just that expressive part of it is so difficult.
Yeah, Sanjay, appreciate it.